All right, so it is March 11th, 2025. With the volatility for what we're doing, the first thing that I want you to do is I want to make sure that all of you understand. All right, when we come in here, I'm going to pull this down. I'm going to show you the room real fast. So this is the trendy room, of course, and then so I have a lot of things going on, right? And then over here on the trendy SPX room, you got an alert that looks like this morning, okay? And what this is referring to right in here in the alert section is if you come over into your notes section and this is what you should be doing every morning, coming in here, taking a look at this. Yesterday's trades that were not API alerts, and the reason why is because it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if you're working, it doesn't matter if you're out fishing. If you're given these levels before the price gets there, you can easily set this up just like I'm doing. Now, a couple days ago, last week, I tried to take a couple trades and noticed using the API account that they were not going through as alerts. So I immediately recognized it was because I was putting on bracket orders. Now, the bot, the programmer who created the bot for us a long time ago, had mentioned that, but it had been a long time since I tried to put in like a OCO type order on a trade. So Melissa and I always teach it. I think it's the best way to approach the market, but it 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 can't be done with my bot. So the bot in the background is reading my API and it gets confused and it doesn't spit out the alert. So what happens is what I would like for you guys to do is come in here and open this image. If you can't see it well, you just right click on it and open image in a new tab. Okay, it's going to be like this. And you can just click on it. It's going to be really nice and pretty for you, right? And if you notice, what we're doing is identifying levels, demand levels, whatever, um, call levels. I think in this case, these worked out. Well, I don't think, I know they worked out very, very well. Now, the idea is that you're already putting the trade in before price gets there. Okay. Now, if you're using a different platform than Thinkorswim, you may need to, you know, figure out or talk to a representative how do you put in your OCO orders. The easy way, in my opinion, how I've learned everything is just go over to YouTube and let's say you're using Interactive Broker. Then I would just go to YouTube, type in how to place an OCO option trade, right? In Thinkorswim, I already know how to do that. Okay. So let's go ahead and exit out of, I want to make sure. Yep. Okay. Exit out of that. And so you already have these. And Tuesday, I said, good morning, a nice overnight rebound for future traders, but confusion here as retail gets ready to start the day. My focus will be ES futures and SPX. Okay, cool. So you can look at my ES chart if you want to, and then you can come down here into this chart. And same thing, let's open this up in a new image. Let's go ahead and click on it, and it already tells you where we want to be getting along on these type of trades. Okay. Again, because I cannot, like if I put an OCO on this and I do well, you're not even going to see it because the bot is not going to read it correctly and send it to you. So what I've decided to do is start sending you, and again, this is even more work for me because what I would really like for you to do, guys, is just learn how to do this and not worry about the alert. This can be part of our day trading. So just like the SPX premium chart, which we'll get to here in a second, this is the same exact idea. Now the rules on this chart are going to be as follows. An OCO order you can get on the put side, you can get on the long side, and what we're doing is we're creating the OCO to, one cancels the other basically. So you are placing your calls, the 59.90, if you like it, the 59.90 here when price gets at or around this 55.64 and a quarter. Okay. Now, the rule that we're placing in here after discussions with Mel as well is that after 1 hour of the market, okay, if this does not trigger, okay, you're using a 1 DTE. All right, now they're expensive. All right, for those who don't have big accounts, go out of the money if you like. It is a volatile market. You're not necessarily going to get the delta we're going to get when these work, but you can still try to go a little bit further out of the money if you want to. Now, within the hour, so the market opens, you got basically 0 to 60 minutes, okay? If it triggers, then we are set up for a 0 DTE at these levels. To make this very simple, $300 stop, okay, unless I say otherwise. Okay, I could say 300 to 500. Now, 300 to 500, this makes it really, really simple. All right, you don't need, if I send it out, you can be betting that I'm taking this trade. I don't need you to ask me, did you take the trade? Anything like that. Okay, I'm not going to send out stuff. I'm not talking the talk and not walking the walk. Okay, so if you set these up in advance, you're going to get executed. Okay, just like I am. All right. Now, it might be that some of you come in here and you may, change your numbers up a little bit. And, in that case, I may get executed, but maybe you're not. Right. And again, that's up to you. All right. So coming over here, let me now show you on the premium chart what I'm talking about. So for example, you'll notice down here it says, this level is 55.20, okay? And it says 55.45 call, all right? 55.45 call. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my options chain, which is right here. And let's go ahead and type in SPX, okay? What account is this? Let me get the right account here. There we go. All right, and then we come down to the 55.25 and we go to 1 DTE because again, it's been 1 hour past, okay? And we said the 55.25 call. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down here. And you're going to notice it's very expensive right now, right? So, but what I want you to think about is, well, if it hits my next trigger, it's not going to be $8,000, right? Because the market's going down. Everybody understand? So these are going to lose value. But what I want you to do is you come over here and you right click on it, and then we are going to send it to the green. Okay? Boom. That's all. Just send it to green. Now the reason why I say green is because remember, my premium chart is set up with the calls here, the puts here, the call active trader here, and the put active trader here. For example, today you can see that the put set up as well over the PMZ. So if you just followed the process that I've taught you in the video to trade the PMZ, you could have already been long today at PMZ high at $26.50, and current contracts are going for 49. So it's about 100%, folks, just on the put side. All right, now why didn't I trade the put side? I don't know. Maybe I'm over concentrating on a lot of different stuff. Okay. So in this case, I'm concentrating on the demand zone. And the reason why I'm concentrating on the demand zone is because we're in a demand zone. So I'm looking at buying the dips at my levels. Okay. Now listen, even though this is titled as an alerts only room, you still have the discretion to do what you want to do. And the beauty of it is when I'm going out of the way here, everybody, instead of just making this an alerts room. I don't have to share any of this with you. None of it. It could be like a a regular alerts room and it's just completely quiet and maybe you get alert every once in a while. But what I'm trying to do is give you the ability to fish. So a lot of you, if you're available and you are okay, in the room and you're asking me questions, that means you have time to be looking at these type of charts, right? I would hope so. So in this case, you could take the PMZ if you wanted to, or you can set it up like I do. I'm identifying the levels that I give you in the morning, okay? And then we're just going to set up. So let me show you what I mean. In this template right here, if I click on this, I have a lot of different templates. Now, this one that I've taught you right here is called $300 risk. So what I'm going to do is click on this, go to $300 risk. Now you're going to notice right now it's set up for basically I could lose 300 or I can make 500. Now this is going to this I want you to kind of, you use your gut, if you will, or listen to me in the morning. It is choppy conditions, so therefore for me this is not like a 3 stop and a 10 reward or a $15 reward or anything like that. Everybody understand? But if we were trending, let's say to the upside, and this is day 2, and we're doing something like this, you'll notice that I'll come in here and this number would be a little bit higher. But today, since we're chopping around, we're trying to take quick profits. All right. So on my first trade that I took, that I sent out with you guys, and I apologize, everybody close your ears, but I was on the toilet, and I knew that the market was really choppy, but, that's Mother Nature, right? So this trade in particular, is right here, and this is all I made. This is my only trade in SPX today. Okay. So I got in at 43.20 and I sold at 45.20. Very easy $200 per contract. Okay. So it went down just for a few minutes and then it went right back up. All right. Maybe for a few seconds. Now, this trade lasted. Okay. Here's the kicker. This trade lasted. I got in at 9:27 and I got out at 9:31. Yesterday's trades, I was in for less than a minute and did about the same. Melissa took these same lines that I gave you yesterday that her and I collaborated on, and she made $2,500. This is how we learn to fish, folks. Okay? Now all you have to do is figure out where are you buying. So let's get to that part. All right, so are you ready? So I click the 300 risk, we can see that it's in here. Notice when I hover over the active trader, I'm not clicking in buttons, be really careful. But what I'm going to do is I can see that current price is going, and let me go ahead and freeze so you can see this. These are the buyers, these are the sellers. Somewhere between here is where price is, okay? You can also double check up here, and it tells you what the bid and ask are right there, okay? All right, everybody understand so far? Is everybody here in the SPX room understanding what I'm saying? Okay. Now let's go ahead and move down. Now I'm going to keep moving down. I do not, and let me make sure I'm very clear with this. Do not, just because it said 70, do not, it's actually 67 by 68 now. Do not come too close to that number, guys. In a volatile market, you could get stopped out and in a trade before you know it, and that's not what you wanted. What we're trying to do is go all the way down here to 55.20. How many points away is that? That's 30 points, right, folks? So let's go all the way down here. Okay, we're at 66. I'm watching this number as I do this with you. Okay, because I want to make sure that I'm not trying to get in a trade on accident. So I'm going to go all the way down just to be safe. I'm going to go to 50. Okay, and I'm going to click right here. Okay, boom. All right. Now that was a pretty damn good guess. Because look, when I open up my SPX chart, I'm roughly right before the 55.20. Can everybody see that? Everybody can see that, right? So I'm going to come back down here and I'm actually going to go back to where I was on that 55.20. Where are you? And let's exit out of there. When you exit out of here, make sure you X on the green one, not the red ones. X on the green ones, not the red ones. And that's what closes out the trade. All right, let's go back over here. Again, I'm going to do $300 risk. And we got pretty close. I'm going to go all the way down to about, I don't know, 53.50. And I'm going to go ahead, click there. Boom. And you can see everything's like changing a lot. See how this number came all the way up here all of a sudden? This is what Melissa's been talking about. The volatility is really messing up the entry. Okay. But you get the idea. You want to mess around with this, with these levels, and it's going to show you where you want to get into the trade. Now, another thing I can do is if I'm sitting in front of the market, folks, if I'm sitting in front of the market, mean I'm watching this chart. All I need to do is make sure that I am right here, okay? Click on my risk, and I could just be, if I know we're getting close, set alerts. How do we set alerts? All right, so we know we want to get in at around 55.20, 25. So let's set an alert about 8 points before that. I'm going to right click on the SPX chart and create alert at or below. Create. Okay. This way, from my standpoint, being a moderator, things get really busy, right? As I tell everybody, we're traders, but we also work for Simpler. So we have Slack messages and we have meetings and all those type of things. So there's a lot of times I personally miss out on some really good trades, and it only takes a few minutes to miss. So what this does is give you the ability to be able to set a trade, put a stop, and a target. And this, if I know that I'm in front of the charts, but not necessarily looking only at SPX, when this dings, I can then come over here and I can hover over this right here. And then I can just watch it. And as it hits my level, boom, I click it. I'm in the trade. And then I let everything work for me. I have a $300 stop. I have a $500 return. I have my entry, and that's it. Okay. Now, why are we picking such, you know, pretty much not at the money in this case, but a little bit out of the money? A couple things I want you to take into consideration are the premiums are really, really high right now. So these numbers aren't necessarily what we would see in normal conditions. The implied volatility right now on SPX is 51%, guys. Typically, you're looking at anywhere from like 9 to like maybe 12%. So things are a lot different right now. So let me explain to you why I'm not putting straight up trades in here. Let's go back. My bot cannot do OCO orders. So what does that mean I would have to do on my end for you guys to see my alert? One, I could not do an OCO order. So what I would have to do is I would have to come in here and just set the buy. Okay. So I would just set the buy down here at 55.20. I want to give you a couple scenarios. If I just set the buy and I do not have a stop, okay, how do I know I'm going to be in front of the charts at that very moment? John Carter could be like, hey, John, let's have a meeting, right? And I take the phone call, this gets triggered, the market goes straight down, and all of a sudden, my 300 looks like a $2,000 loss. Okay? Not cool. I am not comfortable doing that. If I was in front of the market, though, and let's say that I was not in a meeting, this is how this would go. I would have to buy it just to ensure that you see the alert. Then I have to come in here and put a stop. Okay. I cannot put a stop and then a take profit on this trade because if I do that, These are a combined order and they will mess up the bot. So if I get long and then I come and do this, you won't see that I exit the trade. It gets very complicated, is my point. Okay. And I'm not comfortable trying to chase this ladder during volatile moments. Okay. So the best thing that I can do right now with this trade is one, equip you with the education that it takes easily to take this trade. Okay. Or I can at least give you the trade in advance, like we're doing in the morning. And all you have to do is come in here and set your trades up, execute them, and come back at the end of the day. Listen, you can literally, on these type of trades, when you put them in, you don't even have to monitor them if you don't want to. Okay. Now, the hardest thing about OCO orders, because really, in my mind, OCO orders are like bots, right? They're like bots. You're trading just like a bot would. You're finding your level and you're putting it there beforehand, right? And the cool thing about it is you already know what your stops are and you already know what your targets are. So they're either going to work or they're not. Everybody understand? So you don't necessarily have to be in front of the screen. However, in these volatile conditions, it might be smart of you to get in front of the screen because I say that because if you do so, you can hurry up and take faster profits. Okay? You can take faster profits. All right, and you can see right here, we're starting to move out of the demand zone. So on the butterflies, let me go back, okay, before I finish this video real quick. Before I finish the video, the butterflies do not have stops on them. These are teeny weeny type trades for me, right? The reason why they're tiny is because they can produce a nice percentage. So I only have to spend 80 cents and maybe make 800. I love that. So I don't put a stop on something like this. Okay. These type of trades, 100%. We want to be putting stops on them because last thing we want to do is get smoked. Okay. You guys are welcome. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I want to cover. This trade, super easy, folks. For example, 315 is the risk. Okay. 315. So same thing, I would come down here and on this template when we make it, all I have to do is increase this, say to 325. So I backspace 25, hit enter a couple times and make sure it's loaded. Okay. And I could look for my lines in the morning. So if I have a line here, for example, if I have a line right here this morning, guys, and it says 38.41 at the line in the sand, I know that I'm getting long at 26.48. Boom, 26.48. So in the morning, all we're doing is we're hovering over this bad boy. Okay. Aggressive, I'm just going to hit that buy as soon as we go bid above, and then I know where my target is. So what I can do is down here is I can already do the math. I know that $325 stops me out, but I also know that I'm getting long at 26.50. And I also know what my target is. In this case, let's say 38. Okay. So you're going to do $38 minus the entry, which again was, I think 26.50 is what we said. Sorry. Yeah, 26.50. It's 11.5. Okay. 311. Whoops. Okay. Does everybody understand that? Now, when I hover over here, I'm going to have, let's go ahead and pause. I'm going to buy one of these. I have a $325 stop and I have $1,100 return. Okay. So all I got to do is hover over, wait for my trigger, and execute. Let's say that I want to take this trade on a pullback to the PMZ. Same thing. I could come down here and align myself. I already know how much price is going to be. So it's going to be around 20, 27, the number I gave you, 2650, but let's just say 2720. So after this pulls back, I can go ahead and put my level in advance, okay? And I'll try to take this trade again if that's something you're interested in, okay? So again, I'm taking the trade. I'm taking a PMZ trade on a pullback to the PMZ, and it's a set and forget trade. This is truly set and forget type trades. Why do we set it? We forget it because is there any reason for you to just sit here and stare at it when you already know what your risk and your targets are? No. But again, volatile conditions may, you know, state otherwise. You may want to be watching your trades. Okay. Okay. When it hits a stop, say $3, since it can move so quickly, do you find that you get out at the 300, or should you use the stop limit, say 0.110 to get out at no worse than 310? So you can try it. To me, there's slippage in SPX. So, I mean, I think I had a stop of like 325 yesterday, and I got stopped on one of them, and I actually lost like 375, something like that on one of my trades. So I'm always prepared. I understand it's not going to be anything crazy, but yeah, yeah. And let me just make sure. Do you guys have any questions on this before I move on? And we already have a video, Steve. It's in your notes section. Any new questions around this? Again, guys, the video is right here in here. You guys should know how to do these premium charts. Okay. Yeah, Benjamin. So a fuller course. So I mean, it depends, right? So supply and demand. We did a class. You can still buy the class, and then we have 12 classes that Melissa and I are hosting over the next 4 months that are really really good. And so if you're interested in those, you can check it out on your dashboard. I think there's a way to sign up for those. Um, but I mean, as far as this goes, that is about as. If you watch the video on how to set up the chart after that, man, what I just gave you is really a nice little crash course in how you would trade this every single day. Okay. Yeah, Lou. So how do you select your strikes, and why did you choose the strikes pre-market? So pre-market, what I'm doing is simply going to the ES futures chart, and if the ES futures is up 20, and I go over to the SPX chart, and yesterday it closed at 5,500. Then I'm going to just look at the 5,500 that it closed at. The ES futures is telling me we're going to gap up about 20 points before the open, and I'm just going to attach that to that, man. That's all. Okay, and if it's down 20, then I would minus 20 from that. Okay. Now, far as these, if you notice here, Lou, far as these, if you notice what's happening is this is 55.65, and then we're adding on about 25 to 30 on the strike. That's all. So rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So these are a little bit out of the money. Yeah. And then what I'm showing you in the morning is basically at the money. Okay. Do you guys feel like, so let me, before I close out the video, if you wake up before the market and let's say you go to work, all right, and say you don't have any charts from me, right? And you're like, well, what's he doing? What numbers is he going to choose? Okay, now on the zero DTEs that we're using on the premium charts, that's easy. I just showed you. ES futures are up or down X amount of points. Add that in, okay, to yesterday's SPX closing price. These, well, this is your crash course into supply and demand we did on Saturday. That's all we're doing. We're using demand and we're using supply to come up with the levels. Okay, everybody understand? So if you want to learn, then sign up for the class. You know, it's recorded. You can go in and watch it. It was really good, guys. I mean that. I think it was really good. My whole focus was only teaching supply and demand this time. Okay. Personally, I think education is the best thing because look, you're equipped, you understand how to fish. The room is a community, right? The price that you're paying is the education that you get in between all of this. That's what I love. And it's well worth the annual that you guys pay for, I'm sure, for the SPX room. It's very inexpensive. So, all right, guys. So we'll go ahead and kind of now let's go to the big picture, right? Notice that SPX came into a demand zone, that 55.90, and even if you didn't do the 55.90, you know, if you got stopped out and then it moved back up, I only took a couple $100. I was hoping we were going to come back down to here. Then I was going to show you guys live how to take this trade as well. Okay. Now let's go a little bit further while we're sitting in here. Notice that the ES futures is getting, possibly getting ready to pump above the PMZ. Okay. Couldn't I just come over here and buy the at the money or even just a tad out of the money call for tomorrow and just use the PMZ? Okay. All right. That's all I have to do. So once again, this guy, I can load a call for tomorrow. And I know if we were to move above the PMZ, the ES futures would be at 56.24. That's 25 points from now. Okay. So if I wanted to do 25 points out of the money, okay, listen to me. I'm going to show you again. So if the ES futures hits the top of the PMZ, it will be at 56.25. Okay, that is 25 points from now. 55.91 plus 25 gives you that number. Now I want to be maybe 20, 25 over that. Okay, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I could buy this 56.15 when we get to the PMZ, but if that's too high for you, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, the 56.40. I'm going to right click on this. I'm going to send it. Again, it's 1 hour after today, so we're going to do a 1 DTE. We're going to send this to the green. Let's go ahead and minimize it. $300 stop. I hover over this, and what I'm doing is I'm watching the PMZ on my ES futures chart. Everybody understand that? So right now, I'm watching the PMZ on the ES futures chart. Okay, what if you don't want to wait? There's several things you can do here, folks. Notice in the futures, our green zone is working. Okay, say you want to scalp SPX. You're looking for turn signals. You're looking for buy signals. Okay, I got this right here, and all I have to do is sit here and hover. You want to scalp? Maybe you don't want $300 to stop on a scalp. Maybe you only want 150. That's up to you. But I'm just trying to show you how you can take the indicators and use them to get in. This is how fast you could be trading. Okay. So let's say a scalp is $1.50. Okay. I'm going to bring that chart back up real quick. Right there. I'm hovering. I'm looking. Maybe I'm waiting for something. For example, maybe I'm waiting for this to break above the cloud. Maybe I'm waiting for a turn signal. You name it. Maybe I'm trading right off the cloud. Okay. Now, another thing, I'm going to freeze this really quick that I can do is we can change the stop to a trail stop. Okay. What does a trail stop mean? That means it starts to trail price. So if price shoots up on the ladder, your stop doesn't stay at $300. It moves with price and trails price. Okay. Now, if you make them too tight, then they tend to get stopped out very easily. Now, for you, I'm going to do an example with real money just to show you guys what that looks like. So I'm willing to lose some money. Whoops, I'm on the wrong one. Give me 1 second. And we'll try to take a trade right off of something. We'll just do $1. Okay, and we'll do a trail stop. Trail stop kind of has its advantages if it's really big. If it's not really big, it's kind of annoying, to be honest with you. Okay, so let's go right here. And I see that it's holding right in this area. I'm not using my API account. Okay, I have this loaded here. I'm doing a trail stop this time. Okay, and I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna see if we can pull back to about right here at 55.89. And we're pretty close. Now I want you to watch this. If I lose money, I lose money. It'll be all right. Well, and that was a great demonstration of Thinkorswim freezing up. Yeah, I'll put it, actually, I'm just gonna send it out to you guys right here. I have no idea if this even executed. It's like, goodness gracious. I think it did. I think it execute. That's how bad, guys. That's how bad the uh the volatility is at the moment. Yeah, Jomo, great, great. So let me show you guys what that trade looked like. So we had $100 stop on it. So what happened just during that? This is a great video to send to Thinkorswim. So just during that trade right there, it didn't even send to my phone or my API inside this account until after everything. You didn't even know you were in the trade. And then it just like bloop, that was it. Okay. So this trade, let me show you. So it must have went up at first because look. So this trade got in at 29.30 and it stopped at 28.70. Okay. So not bad. That means when it first executed, it actually started to go up. The trail stop then went up and then it came down and stopped. So instead of taking $100, it actually took less than that. Does everybody understand? So it's still a good still a good lesson to see. Man, been talking too much over the last week and a half for sure. Okay, does everybody understand? All right. So if we come over here and we want to do that perhaps again, then I could come in and try it again if I wanted to. The biggest thing that I would tell you is when you're trying to set yourself up on these bracket orders, always, always, always triple check and make sure all this stuff is correct. I use auto send because I've been doing this a long time and I do not have time to read the order. If you're brand new at trading, then I would tell you, hey, if you know, this is SPX, guys. This is like the Ferrari of the market. This is not the Honda Civic, right? So this thing's moving very quickly. I don't have time to read my orders. So, what are some of the things that I can do just to, save time? I click auto send, but before I click auto send, you need to know that you have the right quantity in there and that you didn't accidentally push 50 or 100 or 25. So always scan and double check right here. Okay, always check your quantity. And before you take your trade, make sure that you've clicked whatever risk that you're willing to take. Okay, 250, 300, 400, 500, whatever. Everybody understand? You can. Yes, you can. So you could, so over here, what happens is that if you have a stop here, okay, what will happen, it will show up on your chart. The stop will be right here. You right click on it and say edit, and you go to the stop section and you change it to trail stop. Does that make sense? All right, cool.